What is it actually? It's an Eportfolio system that also has collaborative features and is oftentimes used as a personal learning network. And it's aptly called because it means to think in Mahara. And Catalyst has been involved in the development of Mahara since its beginning in 2006. So we've been the lead developer since then, and many staff, past and present, have been involved in the development. But now what's actually an Eportfolio system? Well, it can be many, many different things. Here are just 4 different types, namely a showcase, where you can present yourself, a reflection portfolio, where you think about what you have actually done, development portfolio, where you show what you are going to do, so where you look more at the process of things, but also not to forget an assessment portfolio. But everything usually is in somewhat mix and match process. And portfolios can be many, many things to many different people, and they can be used in many different circumstances. Here we have a high school student, Alexis, in California, and she introduces us to herself. She has links to other pages in her portfolio. She puts pictures on it, also a video that then explains more about what she's doing. Another user, Sam in this case, shows off her archery skills and also the achievements she's already received in her very time involved in the hobby that she's very much involved in. And she also tells us about what she wants to do. So it is a combination of showcase and also developmental portfolio, showing really what she has achieved, where she wants to go from here, and also including, again, multimedia, because it's an electronic portfolio. And these 2 examples and many, many more were created using Mahara. And what you do here is usually that you create content online directly in the system, or you upload content, so you collect content from other resources, mix everything up into your portfolio pages however you like, and then you decide with whom you want to share it. So it's always up to you as the author. But now, since we're here at Catalyst and you guys are all developers, so I thought I also have to talk a little bit about some development stuff and things that probably interest you more. And here you see our timeline. So even though the project was started in 2006, version 1.0 came out in 2008, and since then we've made releases approximately every 9 to 11 months. And new features always get in and secured, and bugs are fixed. For 1.5, we had this many people contributing to the release, all the way from number 1 down to 1 person who only had 1 commit. And that is fine because it's a community project, so it's not just Catalyst, though we have most change that's in here, but also many other people, and not just the people here on the list, but also translators, and actually also just the people reporting bugs or proposing features. And altogether, we had 84 new features over the last approximately 11 months, and over 300 bug fixes. That's a heck of a lot of work that we've done over the last time, with a lot of contributions from Catalyst. And all these new features make it possible that users are encouraged to use it, that people are really enthusiastic about the software and use it in many, many different contexts. Altogether, I think the new features can be categorized in approximately 10 categories, namely security, administration, content, multi-tenancy, so if you want to share one Mahara instance with many, many institutions, interoperability in particular with Moodle, new block types, theming work has been done, we've made enhancement to groups, authentication methods, and also usability. So now you put yourself into my shoes. I work with Mahara on a daily basis. It's like being in a candy store. Because if you ask me, what's the feature you like best? I can say, well, actually this one. No, wait, it's this one. This is really awesome. And over there, that one is also really, really cool. So when Don asked me to do a presentation on all the 1.5 features, I thought, well, that's a bit difficult. So I tried to come up with some features that might also interest you. Number 1, safe iframe feature of HTML Purifier. So far, we've always had to create bespoke filters in order to let iframes through because they have this huge security risk. But now with the safe iframe feature of HTML Purifier, all we need to do is have that piece of code. I know it's a bit more involved than that, creating it, but have that and be able to put into these iframe sources more easily. A second really cool feature is browser ID support. We are probably one of the very early starters to do that, and you can imagine who developed this feature primarily. It was François, who now works for Mozilla Foundation and continues working on the browser ID support in their Persona project. But what it allows us to do is use that external authentication method. Users only need their email address in order to log into any Mahara instance that they have access to. Another feature is the configurable theme, which was also created by our designers. And it allows institutions to create their bespoke theme on the fly just within the system by changing colors of the background, sidebar navigation, and so on, and also upload a theme. That wasn't possible before. Before, you always needed to have a designer who does it, who does all this CSS. But now here it is, easy theme in under a minute. Another theme that we also were able to put into mahara.org or into Mahara, thanks to the funding from the New Zealand Ministry of Education for myportfolio.school.nz, was this very cool theme for primary schools. The dashboard image looks a bit friendlier, more engaging than the plain one that we have in all the other instances, and it also encourages younger learners to engage with the software more because they can easily click on items. But Mahara is not just the software itself, because as you know, lots of things need to be used in order to make a software release happen. And in this case, you're seeing our Garrett review system. Since early April last year, we've started doing peer reviews of all our code. Currently, almost 1,200 reviews are in there, and it helps us make core test it before anything comes out. We also switched all our translations over to LaunchPad, which is a service that we use quite heavily in the project, and that allows our translators now not having to go into Git anymore to pull the code, do their translations, put everything back into Git, but they can use an online web interface to do their translations. They could also download PO files and use their preferred software for it. Very recently, we've also started using the blueprints feature of LaunchPad, which enables us to keep better track of our specifications in development. There aren't many here on that list that have actually been started, because we didn't put the old features on there, but just the new ones that haven't been started yet. And but in the future, we hope to make the process easier and also allow people to see more easily what has actually already been started, where progress is, and so on. We were also able to release a full user manual with the version 1.5 in April when we released the code, because we had been updating the user manual almost from scratch for 1.4 and then continuously put the 1.5 features in, so that now all our users, when they see 84 new features, they can actually check out which ones are new and how they can use them. Last but not least, we also recently started a security bug bounty program, which means that any developer who comes, or anybody who comes across a security bug and discloses it just to us, to the project, is rewarded between $200 and $500. However, of course, fortunately, that excludes the poor developers who are part of the security team, so that they don't get rewarded for fixing their own bugs. So, if you got interested now into taking a look, very soon, hopefully within a few days, you'll be able to take a look at showcase.catalyst.net.nz, which will be our very own Mahara installation. There will also be some activities going on for you to participate in, and you are very welcome also to talk to me or anybody else in the team and talk about what Mahara and Catalyst is. Thank you.
Awesome.